With the 25-26 football season now on the horizon, I thought I'd use Football Manager to try and predict the future. Will Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester all be able to bounce back to the Premier League after just one season? Will Birmingham, Wrexham and Charlton be able to avoid relegation back to League One? If you want to find out how you can play Football Manager 2024 with a 1st of July 2025 start date and up-to-date league info, you're going to need to like this video, make sure you smash the subscribe button and check out the description of the video. Right then, let's find out what Football Manager 2024 thinks will happen in the 25-26 Championship season. The 25-26 Championship season sees the return of Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton, who were all relegated from the Premier League in the 24-25 season. Joining them would also be Birmingham, Hollywood Wrexham and Charlton, who were all successful, gaining promotion from League One. Before a ball had been kicked in the season, Football Manager was predicting a hard time for Wrexham and Charlton, who were both forecast to be relegated, along with Sheffield Wednesday, who look likely to struggle due to financial issues. At the top of the table, it is quite predictable, as it predicts that all three relegated teams from the Premier League would have a great shot at a bounce back straight away. Its most rogue prediction, though, is promoted Birmingham up in 8th, as the game gives them an outside shot at the playoffs. When the summer transfer window opened, nearly every team got to work signing players, as Birmingham signed defender Jairo Quinteros, Christian Burgess and loaned Alejandro Gomez Rodriguez from Lyon. Blackburn completed the free transfer of Benjamin Verbic. They picked up Danilo Gomez from Niigata in Japan and Rui Modesto from Udinese. Bristol City would sign Spurs youth team forward Yusuf Akamrich and picked up Jean-Daniel Akpro on a free transfer. Charlton would bid for survival by loaning Julio Cesar Sola from Bournemouth and Harrison Murray Campbell from Chelsea. Coventry picked up former Atletico defender Martin Pascual and Nathan Broadhead from Ipswich. Derby would sign experienced defender Liam Moore and Kamari Doyle from Portsmouth. Even though they have just been punished in real life, in this sim, Hull would sign James Hill from Bournemouth, Mohamed Sek and Ricardo Solbes, both on loan from Roma. Ipswich meant business as they splashed the cash on Mirko Nikolasevic, Eliza Mayenda, Lewis Binks and completed the loan signing of Jonah Kusi-Asare. Leicester too were adding quality in numbers as they signed free agent Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Thomas Soucek from West Ham, Tierno Bolde from Troyes and Simone Scuffet from Cagliari. Millwall would sign former Leicester player Nampalys Mendy and loan Stefan Bojatic from Liverpool. Over at Norwich, they chose not to spend in the summer but did loan Red Bull Leipzig's Robert Ramsak and Chelsea's Philip Jorgensen. Oxford completed the free transfer of Joshua John Estrada. Portsmouth added 4 loan signings in Pablo Lopez, Mateo Perez-Vinloff and Paul Scholl, both from Bayern, and Mark Zhu from Chelsea. Preston signed free agent Victor Wanyama, Gil Bueno on loan from Dortmund, Caden Young on loan from Villa, and Luke Chambers on loan from Liverpool. QPR turned to Real Madrid as they loaned Alvaro Rodriguez. Sheffield United added Ben Davies and Amadou Doumbia and Kale Budash, both on loan from Nice. Moving on to Southampton, new boss Will Still began rebuilding by signing Lewis Cook, Bahir Al-Mohammadi and Joe Rodon from Leeds. Stoke would loan Yehor Yarmouk from Brentford. Watford took Shaka Toure, Lewis Kumas and Darko Chuklinov all on loan, whilst West Brom would buy Unai Eguiluz from Athletic Club and loan Tygo Land from PSV. Finally, Wrexham too would go down the loan route as they borrow Jay Turner-Cook, Dane Scarlett, Calvin Ramsey and Miles Peart-Harris. The opening weekend of the Championship season handed Leicester the perfect start. They would go on the road to Millwall and collect all 3 points. Also going away from home and winning would be Ipswich. They beat Portsmouth by the same 3-1 scoreline. Southampton, though, couldn't match the other two as their opening fixture finished as a draw at St Mary's. At the other end of the table, the league threw up a battle of the promoted sides as Charlton travelled to Wrexham and left with a 2-0 victory and 3 hard-earned points. The other promoted team, Birmingham, would travel to Oxford, where they would lose 2-1. As the league moved forward into November, this is what the Championship table would look like after 15 games. Ipswich would be the team leading the way at this stage. Their 32 points give them a 2-point gap over Leicester, who currently sit in second place. In the chase for the playoff spots, we currently have 8 teams separated by just 6 points. West Brom lead the way currently, but Southampton are right there with them. At the other end of the table, it is Millwall that are occupying the bottom of the league slot. As it stands, Wrexham are in 22nd, but they are only 1 point behind Birmingham and 4 points away from Coventry in 17th. At this stage of the season, Hull are also in trouble. After 15 league games, it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin leading the goal scorers as the ex-Everton man sits on 9. There is a 4-way tie to be top assister with Humphreys, Decordova-Reid, Borka Signs, and George Dobson providing 5 assists apiece. The current top-rated player in the Championship is Decordova-Reid with a 7.38 rating. After a brilliant start to the season, can Ipswich hold on to their advantage at the top? Will Wrexham be able to get out the drop zone? And can Millwall save their season? The next run of games sees us approach the turn of the year. League leaders Ipswich would continue their good form with a 3-0 victory over Oxford, a 3-1 win away at Watford, before a surprise 1-0 loss at Birmingham halted their momentum. From the chasing pack, Leicester would beat Sheffield United 2-0, Stoke 2-1 away from home, whilst West Brom beat Blackburn 4-1 at Ewood Park, before losing at home to Leicester. Southampton were the form team though, picking up wins against Blackburn, Swansea and QPR. At the other end of the table, Millwall would pick up a vital 3 points against promoted Wrexham, Hull beat Coventry 2-0 at the MKM Stadium, Birmingham would gain a vital 3 points away at Wrexham, and Portsmouth would beat Birmingham 2-0 as all of the teams towards the bottom of the league continue to take points away from each other. This means that on the 2nd of January 2026, we find the Championship table looking like this. We now have joint leaders in the Championship as Leicester and Southampton are only separated by goal difference as both teams have 52 points from 26 matches. Behind them, Ipswich are on 51, before a gap that is now forming to Bristol City, Norwich and West Brom. At the other end of the table, it is now Watford who find themselves bottom of the league. At this stage, they have 20 points from 26 games and find themselves 2 points behind Charlton and 3 behind Wrexham, who join them in the drop zone. At this stage, Coventry, Oxford, Sheffield Wednesday and Millwall have themselves a bit of breathing space. After 26 games, it is still Dominic Calvert-Lewin leading the goal scorer charts with 13 goals. Cameron Humphreys has continued his good form as he still has the most assists with 11, and the league's highest rated player is currently Mark Sykes of Bristol City with a rating of 7.30. Next up is the January transfer window, who will invest wisely to either gain promotion or avoid relegation. When the January transfer window opened, teams jumped straight into action as Birmingham loaned Chelsea's wonderkid Estevao, Bristol City struck a deal to sign Leeds' Harry Gray on loan. Charlton would also loan a player from the Premier League, adding William Asula. Coventry signed Gabe Forsyth from Norwich. Derby signed free agent Santiago Paiva and loaned Brentford duo Yunus Emre Gonak and Michael Olakigbe. Ipswich splashed the cash on Zan Sella from QPR and Francisco Mora from Porto. Norwich would complete the loan signings of Bobby Clark and Tyler Morton before signing Diego from Kashiwa in Japan. Oxford signed Musa Cisse from Basel and Tommy McDermott from Burnley. QPR completed the signings of Ollie Tanner from Cardiff and the loan of Reagan Heskey from Manchester City. Southampton, in their bid for promotion, signed Joe Willock on loan from Newcastle. Stoke signed Ryan Manning and Matty Pollock. Swansea loaned Ollie Harrison from Chelsea and Tavi Kukamaki from Borussia Mönchengladbach. West Brom signed Wes Burns from Ipswich, and Wrexham loaned Brighton's Brajan Gruda as they bid to avoid the drop. There would also be a number of managerial changes as Birmingham replaced Chris Davies with Ronald Brunmeyer. Charlton would sack Nathan Jones and take on Paolo Vanoli. Coventry decided to part ways with Frank Lampard and hire Steve Cooper. Hull City are now managed by Sean Dyche. Ipswich, despite their great start to the season, replaced Kieran McKenna with John Eustace. Leicester started the season without a manager and appointed Javier Aguirre. And Watford would appoint Liverpool coach Gio van Bronckhorst. After the team shuffled their decks in the January transfer window, there is still a lot of football to be played in the season. The second half of the season began with a top-of-the-table clash which would see Leicester take all 3 points at St Mary's. West Brom and Norwich would share the points in a 2-2 draw. Ipswich would keep themselves in the promotion hunt as they swept away Bristol City in a 3-1 win. Southampton would also keep their push for top spot alive with a 2-1 home win against Swansea. At the bottom end of the table, Wrexham are fighting with everything they have as they picked up a massive 3 points at home against Blackburn. Sheffield Wednesday couldn't strengthen their squad due to transfer embargoes, but were still taking points with a 3-2 win over Oxford. Charlton were also fighting for their lives as they pull off a shock 2-0 win for 3 vital points at Portman Road. This all means that with 40 games played, it is Leicester who have taken control of the league. Their 82 points from 40 games has already ensured them of a playoff place. They, though, will want to win the league as soon as possible. Southampton are the other team currently sat in a promotion place. Their 76 points give them a 5-point cushion to the chasing pack of Ipswich, West Brom, Norwich and Sheffield United. The surprise name in the top half is Birmingham, who sit just 3 points outside of the playoffs. At the bottom of the league, it is Wrexham who find themselves looking up at the rest of the table. They now have 32 points, and Sheffield Wednesday above them have 35. Millwall, Portsmouth and Coventry seem to have built a nice buffer as the relegation scrap looks to now be between 4 teams. Josh Maja has now joined Dominic Calvert-Lewin as the league's leading goalscorer. Both players have 18 goals. There are also joint leaders for assists as Mateus Fernandes and Cameron Humphreys are tied on 12 apiece. After 40 games, the league's highest rated player is Ipswich's Luciano Rodriguez, with Mark Sykes being ranked second, both having a 7.25 average rating. So it's time for the run-in. Will Leicester be caught? Who will make the playoffs? And who is going to be sent back to League One? The run-in kicked off with a top-of-the-table clash as Ipswich faced Southampton. Both teams needed 3 points, but thanks to Adam Armstrong's missed penalty, the game would end 0-0. West Brom were looking to have a late push to take the second automatic promotion place, but they would falter away from home, losing 2-0 to leaders Leicester. Norwich kept their playoff dreams alive with a 3-0 victory over Wrexham, whilst Birmingham were becoming the surprise package of the season as they beat Watford 3-1 in their hunt to get into the playoffs. At the other end of the table, all 4 relegation candidates were struggling. Charlton were on the receiving end of a 4-0 thumping by Leicester. Watford visited Birmingham and were beaten convincingly. Wrexham invited league leaders Leicester to the racecourse ground and were dismantled in a 3-1 defeat. And finally, Sheffield Wednesday fought hard, but were defeated by Millwall. So after 46 league games, this is how the final table looks. It would be Leicester who were crowned champions of the Championship. They would collect 97 points from 46 matches to comfortably win the league. In second place and joining them in the Premier League will be Southampton, who finished 9 points behind on 88. The playoffs will be contested by Ipswich, West Brom, Norwich and newly promoted Birmingham, who made a real push in the run-in and dislodged Sheffield United on the last day of the season. At the bottom of the league, it would be Wrexham, Sheffield Wednesday and Charlton, who are all relegated. Wrexham would finish the season on 34 points, which left them 11 points behind Watford. Sheffield Wednesday's finish on 40 points and Charlton on 41. Watford saved their Championship status by winning 2 of their last 3 games. Dominic Calvert-Lewin would finish the season as the league's top goal scorer. The Leicester striker scored 21 times to pick Josh Maja to the Golden Boot. The top assister title would be shared as Mateus Fernandes and Cameron Humphreys both provided 13 assists to share the honour. The league's top-rated player would be Steffi Mavdidi, who jumps to the top of the chart in the last few weeks of the season. With the league campaign done and dusted, let's see what happened in the playoffs. The first tie in the playoffs would be Birmingham versus Ipswich. In the game at St Andrews, Birmingham would win the game 1-0, which set up a brilliant second match, which would finish 2-1 in normal time, 3-3 after extra time, and saw Ipswich win 10-9 in a penalty shootout. The other playoff tie would be Norwich against West Brom. In the first game at Carrow Road, it would be a tight affair as a 1-1 draw left it all to play for at the Hawthorns. In the second game, it would also finish 1-1 in normal time, which forced extra time, where Liam Gibbs' 110th minute goal sent Norwich to the playoff final. And so the playoff final became an East Anglian derby, as Norwich would beat Ipswich 2-1 at Wembley in the playoff final to make a return to the Premier League. That would mean the final league table looks like this, as Leicester, Southampton and Norwich are all promoted, Charlton, Sheffield Wednesday and Wrexham are relegated. So after 1,109 Championship games were simulated, Football Manager 2024 predicts that Leicester, Southampton and Norwich will be promoted to the Premier League, whilst Charlton, Sheffield Wednesday and Wrexham will all be relegated to League One. Let me know your thoughts on this simulation in the comment section down below.